Hi, and welcome to the 31st annual
podcast. What? Well, we haven't even done one.
Yeah, well, podcast extravaganza.
Oh God, you know what? That's gonna be the intro now. We're leaving that in.
Just we're gonna open it with some random ass old school like carnival announcement, and then just act like that's what it is, and then.
Oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna start this off. Okay, in 1 minute. Bow, bow, now. Copyright infringement!
Where?
Alright, hello.
12, run.
Okay, well, now that we got that out of the way, hello and welcome to the first official Nerd Hub podcast. I am your host, Trey Griffith, and this is Nerd Hub editor and founder, Jack Flowers. Say hi to the people, Jack. You could put a bit more enthusiasm in your voice. Damn, man.
What? Yeah.
Okay, so this
really.
is actually the second time we've attempted this. Last time didn't work so well due to technical problems, but this time hopefully it's going to work out better. And so let's get this started. So Jack, we're probably introducing some people to some new people to this, what the Nerd Hub is and all that. So you're the guy who founded this, so why don't you just tell whoever's listening in your own words what the Nerd Hub is and how it got started and that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll go with a little recap. So basically, it just started as a Facebook group. Because I joined other Facebook groups, but a lot of them were too controlling or power hungry with the admins, and it so it formed with people from other groups that clicked well, but just didn't like the way other groups were running, so we started our own, and just basically was we don't really have any rules as long as you don't get out of control. And that's basically the point. Like, we let people promote their stuff, all that that other groups don't. And then the same concept with when we changed it into a website is we got tired of the news being fake news. So we decided to do something about it and write our own.
Okay. That is how it goes. So you put the group together with your cousin Brian.
Yes, my cousin Brian.
Okay. So you decided to actually try to turn this into a full-blown news site. So when was that decision made?
I'd say about a year and a half in. I had already come back. I had been in Florida when I started this with him, and I had already come back from Florida. And I was just, how do you say, tired of work. So I took a vacation. Yeah, I took a vacation, and I got really involved in the group, and then that's when I noticed it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something to change that and provide better info to the group members and filter it, and from filters it went to full-blown articles, and that's how that went. And then I picked you up after I saw your E3 coverage. It's pretty good. So yeah, we already know how that turned out, Mr. Egomaniac over here.
Yeah. Egomaniac? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
Well, to give the audience some context to that, my name is Trey Griffith. I am the writer of the blog Trey's Take On, and that was actually the third blog site sort of thing I tried, and it didn't really have too much success at first. Like the other ones, I didn't constantly provide as much content as I should due to work and my in the early 2010s I was having some, shall we say, motivational problems. And eventually I just decided to scrap it all, start again with Trey's Take On. Didn't particularly go anywhere at first, but then I quit my job at 7-Eleven. I got a delivery job at a place called Wing Zone, and it was significantly easier. And then I saw that 2016's E3 was starting, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a look at some of these trailers. I'm going to do some articles on that. And that's more or less how Jack and I got into contact. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. Oh, excuse me. And then Jack basically recruited me, and I said to him, okay, I'll do like one article a month for you. And yeah, that lasted about 3 months or so before that blew up. And started out with the, there was the Killing Joke DVD movie that was coming out. So I decided to take a look at Killing Joke, and it sort of turned, and it just sort of kind of ended up with me basically getting all of Comic Book Spotlight, and I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, and basically it's... And before you continue,
yeah.
It's basically what this I think is about, is finding people, other nerds that just want to do what we do, just to do it, and want to have a passion, and hoping it turns into something more.
Excuse me. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And I, of course, am not being egotistical at all, but Comic Book Spotlight section is often the best part of it.
No, he's not egotistical.
Not
sure.
No, it's not egotistical if it's true.
Nah.
Just say it.
Plus, I'm the one that told you, hey, you want to be the headline name? You know, so I didn't help with that.
Yes. So it's his fault, not mine.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the blame. I created a monster. More like I awoke a monster that had been asleep.
Yeah, you awoke it.
Yeah.
You awoken it from its sleep, that's for damn sure. He was slumbering for a long time, and now he's awake again.
Run for your lives.
Okay, so, obviously we've been doing that. We had some various startup problems regarding keeping people consistently writing. We had both had our own jobs that often wiped us out. I think you were working at a factory when we first met.
Yeah, I was working at a bakery factory, making like Twinkies and shit. Yeah, so not.
Did you at least get free food?
Yeah, actually, you did. You could take anything off the line, and when you went out to lunch, so that was an upside. But it literally broke my body, and I've always done manual labor. I still move furniture and stuff. So, but that job, 19 hours a day, every day of the week.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. I made good money, but it was getting in the way of the Nerd Hub for one, and it was just I was always dead, always. If I wasn't working
and
I was sleeping.
That was it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's no way to live. So I had to stop that, and that's when I decided.
Trust me.
Since I'm quitting that job and doing a delivery job, which also made good money but a lot more time, I figured, well, let's bring on other people, and that's when I got Whit and John, who, by the way, is returning. I don't know if you saw that.
Cool.
Yeah, he's getting through his stuff, so he's returning. Whit should be returning.
That's good.
I'd say within the next month or so. He's still adjusting, but
makes sense.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll probably have the two of them on a podcast at a later date, and they can tell you in their own words who they are, what they do, and why it is their articles have been gone.
Yeah. It's just that's the one thing about this is we bring on everyone, we bring on more people because we're all doing this as a secondary thing.
It's a hobby, basically.
Right now, anyway.
Right now.
Yeah, right now, anyway.
Yeah.
But you can always go to Trey's Patreon to help him. Like that plug.
We'll get into that whoring bit later. Okay. No, that's more like panhandling. I think. Give me money.
Give me your money.
Give me money.
Right.
But yeah, I do actually have a Patreon that's going right now, and if you like our articles, please donate, please. I want to quit my job,
and
please.
It really helps us put out more and better quality stuff. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I basically said that once I get on there to like, I think it was $500 a week. I'm gonna reduce, or $500 a month. I'm gonna start reducing my time over at my main job, and as it like I'm gonna like cut off. Like right now, I work 5-6 days a week over there because apparently I'm the only person who knows how to work there. But whatever, that's a whole other matter. That's a whole.
That's for y'all
matter.
listening out there. All right, step it up.
Yeah, exactly. But once that happens, I'm gonna cut it down to like 4 days a week, and then it's gonna. By the time if I get to like $2,000 a month, I'm probably just gonna quit the place, which would be nice. But I don't expect that to happen anytime soon.
No, but even while you're still working there, the biggest problem I've always had was being able to pay my bills and such, and still have enough money to invest into the hub.
That's why I have a Best Buy credit card.
Yeah.
So I can actually.
I don't have a
pay for
credit
some of
card
this
because
technology.
I couldn't handle it. I'm being honest.
I'm not gonna say how much I'm in debt to Best Buy because of that, but it's it's a good rent check. Let's just leave it at that.
Let's just say
it's a good rent check.
It's into the thousands, ish.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say.
I'm saying I'm not into double digit thousands, but I'm definitely in thousands as far as what I owe to different places and such, including tickets, including parking tickets.
This is what happens when you live in a city, people. This shit happens.
Yeah, Chicago is ruthless. Yeah.
Yeah, most of my family is from Chicago, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could not tell you what part of Chicago, but yeah, I can.
Trey's the guy that if he passes an area, he'll be like, "Oh, I've been here," but he doesn't know the streets because he hasn't lived here in a while, a long time.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while. And like I'm a delivery driver too, so it's like I know the places, but I don't know the street names, which is really sad.
Yeah, but, I'm more of a landmark guy too. But
is.
hey, you know you're east and west though, right?
West is New Orleans, right?
West, well, yeah, from you.
It's west from me. That's all I gotta say.
You. It's southwest from you.
Me, it's
all right, well, that's decent. Yeah, I've come across some people who don't even know where east is in Chicago. It's simple, dude. L.A., New York, west, east. The lake is on the east side of the city. Everyone knows where the lake is from where they're standing in here. So you know where east is. You know your directions. But nobody can comprehend that.
Or you know, it's also sun sets in the west, rises in the east. I mean, they teach that to you in elementary school.
That takes a whole day to try and figure out for some people.
You could always get a compass. Just saying.
Compass, yeah, that works. Or.
Well, anyway, back to the nerd stuff. We gotta get a little sidetracked there. Okay, so lately, as I'm sure we both noticed, the Nerd Hub has kind of been exploding. Like, and there's been a lot more likes. There's been a lot more activity. It's just been booming lately.
It's
We've broken previous article views records twice. Guess who did that?
EM, Egomaniac.
What's been going on with that? So,
yeah, actually,
I mean, it's like this is
basically the Nerd Hub lately. It's been like, you ever seen those memes where it's got the 4 pictures of the brains, and it's like, it says situation 1, and it's got like low neurons. Situation 2, a little more. Yeah, it's basically like that. The last few months have been like that for our ratings.
Excuse me, sorry.
So,
it sounds about right.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting and motivating. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's why we decided to finally try this again, and that's where we're at. So today we're gonna leave out television talk because, well, you'll hear why.
I don't watch TV.
A bit.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, Trey don't watch TV, and I have some projects in the works that basically covers everything TV talk lately anyway. So we're just going to stick to things that currently are on hiatus article-wise, which is movies.
Well,
and
I was going to say, actually, before we move on from the TV thing, roundtable things. Talk a bit about that. That's actually been one of our more popular series.
Yeah, actually, and we have a roundtable series where it's an article. It's all text, but basically 3 or 4 of us, sometimes 5, come together and we watch the show. And then we compose a list of questions, and then we all give our answers, and then I compile them into like sections. So you get the question, then the answers, question, and the answers, and it's easy to follow. It's quick read, and it basically gives several opinions at once, so that you get more out of less, I guess you'd say.
It's not like a full blown,
Right. We're like Trey's. If you read Trey's, I mean, they're great, but you're going to need about 10, 15 minutes to sit down and actually comprehend his complexity, because he dives into them. Like, hard.
They're usually a good 2,000 word article, 2,000 words long. Not the longest thing in the world, to be sure, but
for like, if you're rolling through Facebook and you see an article and you click on it and you're like, oh, this is interesting, and then you're like expecting like, max 600 words, and you come across fucking 2,200 words, you're like, oh. But the thing is, you don't notice it because you start reading, and by the time you get to the end, that's when you notice it, and you're already done, and you're like, huh, okay. So it kind of works out with its quality.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to sell it to viewers, so
it's still just boosting my ego, and I have no problem with this.
Right now, his brain's going up like that meme. When Trey compliments himself, when Trey gets a compliment, when Trey gets a compliment to the public.
Oh my god, that's so accurate.
Oh, man. So yeah, it's been a busy week for both of us. Actually, before we get into what our thoughts on everything, why don't you give us a recap of the last week and your preparations for the upcoming events?
Okay, really over the past month, I've just been doing more articles than anything else. Did a Guardians of the Galaxy one, which broke a long time record for the Nerd Hub, which was the new character problem one. That one had like 2,500 views, and now this one got 3,000, only to be immediately broken not 2 days later by one based on the Star Wars one, the old Star Wars comic. It was a Star Wars comic based on the original script by George Lucas. That blew me away. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it did.
Sometimes, that's the biggest thing that. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the biggest thing that throws me off with this site is like, you notice I try and make predictions, and sometimes I'm spot on, but sometimes it's like, like the Alien one, I did not expect it to suffer, and I did not expect this. I did expect the Star Wars one to do good, because I mean they always do, but I didn't expect it to literally shatter everything like that. It was surprising.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. Well, the Alien one, that's just because we really haven't had the time to share it around, so that's more.
And plus, sci-fi is kind of like, it's hard to get a viewing of right now. We're expanding on it, but Star Wars is Star Wars, and
Star Wars is it's one of the biggest.
Like Star Wars, Marvel, and DC, I think are just guaranteed success if you put them out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what else have you been up to?
But of course I did the Aliens article. That was all. It was okay. So what we've been kind of doing with Comic Book Spotlight is that we take there's the big upcoming movie, like say Guardians of the Galaxy, or the next Alien movie, or earlier it was Logan, what we did with Old Man Logan. And what we do is I'll look for a comic that's kind of related to it in some way. Maybe it's an adaptation of it. Maybe it's just has some vague similarities. Maybe it's just one of the part of the franchise.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Okay. And I'll take a look at it. I'll read over it, and I'll just put it into an article. And yes, before you say anything, it is directly meant to cash in on the upcoming movies. Everybody does it. Don't even give me that crap. At least we don't make clickbait. That's all I gotta say.
Right. We do not make clickbait. That is one of our, one of the rules we set when we set out to be different than, the general sellout crap media we've been getting lately. Yeah.
The closest thing we've ever done to a clickbait article was the Call of Duty World War II trailer article, and that I don't really consider that
we didn't. Yeah, we didn't write anything clickbait except you had to click it to watch the fucking trailer, but that's about it. But you didn't have to. You could go Google search if you want, but you're gonna read the shit anyway. You might as well. So,
but yeah, that's primarily what Comic Book Spotlight does, and did one for Alien, and have a few more upcoming. Later this month, I'm doing one for Wonder Woman Earth 1 for the upcoming Wonder Woman movie. That's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go any further into that one, but
just have to wait and see. Don't tell him anything.
I will say this much about it, okay? I don't think I have ever read a comic that was so tailor-made to piss everybody off. It's astounding. There's no words for it. It's just, oh my god.
I'm gonna have to read that tonight.
And the guy, I haven't finished reading the book yet, but just what I have read of it so far, it's like, oh my god, Grant Morrison, what were you thinking?
How many?
How
many? How big is it? How many issues?
I think it's like 150 pages.
Okay.
Something like that. I'd have to double check it. But no, it was just what I had read of it so far. It was just like, wow, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, and you're doing a Injustice article, right? What'd you think? What do you got? What are your first thoughts?
I am doing one in the video game. I was gonna do one in the comic, but unfortunately, the comic series that they have for the prequel comic, I figured it would be done by now, but it didn't happen. So I'm just going to skip over that, and I'm just going to do the video game one. The video game is solid. It's a solid little fighter game, but its main storyline is not as focused as the first one, which is kind of a shame. I'll get into that in an article. I'm writing the first draft for right now.
I will say also my quick opinion on that. I played it and I watched it get played. It's like you said, a little unfocused. The storyline's definitely better than in the first one, but that's because some missed opportunities with the second one. But the characters and the moves and the just everything about how it looks and feels is great, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's just like the story of it, though. It's how should I put this? Okay, so you play as one character in each chapter, pretty much, and their entire arc is kind of wrapped up in that chapter, which is maybe an hour, if that. It's kind of weird. It's I'll actually give you an example. For example, Green Lantern shows up in this game. Okay, it's the Green Lantern who became a Sinestro, who became a Yellow Lantern, joined Superman and his regime and all that. Comes back to Earth. He's a Green Lantern again. And his whole arc becomes about, his quote-unquote arc is about, him regaining Batman's trust, him resisting the temptations to become a Red Lantern. And that's all done in this one chapter.
Right.
It's weird, he meets up with Batman. Yeah, and Batman's like, get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. He's like, dude, I'm here to help. And Batman's like, okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
Just,
that's it.
That's the thing. They put so many great like hints, like at like they tried to hint at different storylines you loved, but they compressed them all into, like seconds and into the story. Like for instance, there's the chemistry between Ivy, Catwoman, and Harley, but again they do that in like literally 10 minutes.
Like mission, it's like chapter number 3. It's done in one fight, and it does pop up again later, but it's whatever.
If they had they expanded on things a bit more, it would have been better. Also, I think one of the features was you got to often select which fighter you wanted to fight, because there were like 5 or 6 people in a room, which.
Okay, yeah,
that leaves my biggest problem with this game, and that's where we're going to leave it at and move on. But is that it's a huge opportunity for co-op campaign, and it's a huge opportunity to also introduce tag team fighting, and
they failed. And they didn't do it.
So,
yeah, I agree with that. Aside from that, the game it's a solid little fighter game.
Yeah.
If you want your fix of seeing, for whatever reason, Batman beating the shit out of Robin, you're gonna get it. But
and like I said, the characters look amazing, so it's like it's like you're engulfed in an actual superhero fight. It's really good.
Yeah, even if they can't quite solve the question as to how these guys survive being smacked once by Superman, but whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
They had a reason for that last game that they didn't really.
Yeah, they did. The kryptonite.
Yeah, they didn't really explain it this game, I don't think.
Yeah. No. Unless the kryptonite pills have some kind of permanent effect or something like that, but if I don't recall them ever mentioning anything like that.
Yeah. That's the thing with fighting games.
Well, anyway.
Oh, yeah. So, and then you're also working on Prey?
Yeah. Prey has been taking me quite a bit longer than I thought it would. It is a kind of open sandbox survival horror game, and it's a short version. It's perfectly adequate for what it is. It's a System Shock, BioShock knockoff, and all is said and done. But it's a good kind. It gets down to it.
It's done well.
It's done well enough. It doesn't really bring anything new to the genre table, like say Dead Space or Alien Isolation did, or even Resident Evil 7. But it's still a solid little way to spend a few hours if you're into that kind of stuff, and I am, so it works out for me.
All right, so then.
But I will say this much: it really still makes me lament at the loss of Prey 2, because if you saw any of the demos, any of the trailers for that, oh my God, that game looks so much more interesting than this one.
Oh, you're talking about the canceled one, the one that was supposed to come up before this a few years back. Yeah, 83. Yeah,
you were like a parkour space bounty.
Yeah,
hunter,
it was
man.
like you were running around the bounty hunter city in Star Wars.
Exactly.
It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Instead, we got this game, which is not a bad game, but oh my God, I wish we could have gotten the other one.
Yeah. So, before we move on to movies, you're also laying some groundwork for some videos, right? For the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Okay, so let me get a drink real quick. I'm thirsty.
No, that's fine. While you're doing that, I'm just gonna
oh no, I have a drink. I was just swallowing.
Well, I'm gonna talk anyway.
Okay.
Basically,
says I have an ego. God.
Wow. So basically, with this podcast, this is going to be the start of a movement towards YouTube. We're going to be doing all sorts of videos related to spotlights that we have on the website, which Trey will tell you more about his vision on that. Play and review series of different sorts, video games, tabletop games, which Trey will also expand on. But we're also going to do like news videos. We got a new newswire coming up on the website. So we're really expanding. So here's a couple of Trey's leading projects. Go ahead.
Okay, so before I should say found my footing in sort of the world of comic books, my older blogs, which were called The Elusive Ones Reviews. Don't look at that site. Oh my God, it's just, it pales in comparison to what I write now.
I'm gonna tell you,
it's almost.
You sent me the link a few times, and I'm always busy, so I don't really read too much into it yet. I've seen it, but I haven't really read into it, so I'm right there with the people. I read one. It was good. It was, yeah.
It's not the worst thing.
Just don't associate that with his quality at the Nerd Hub, because it's.
yeah. It was written by a guy in his late teens, early 20s, who just hadn't quite found his voice yet. Let's just leave it at that.
Is that physically or metaphorically?
Oh well, I already have a high pitched voice, so it's
yeah. So you never found your voice, is what you're saying.
No, not really. No, my testicles never quite dropped fully.
Well, there you have it, guys. He's still a man-child. Testicles are still up there.
Oh, God. I will say, I was going to say something, but that'd be going into too personal territory, so we're not going to get into that.
Just send me a text message.
I will. Oh, God.
So, anyway, the elusive one.
But anyway, so did that for a little while. Then in 2012, a friend of mine, who I do not talk to anymore, we had a bit of a falling out. It's a long story. Wanted to do some videos. Okay, wanted to start doing video reviews and whatnot. So what he basically had me do was I had a camera. I shot them and I cut them together, and they turned out okay. I remember saying to him after we did one on The Expendables 2. That one did not turn out very well, simply because of this guy's insistence on basically improving the whole thing. And it turned out better than it could have, for sure, but I definitely would have been a lot better if we had a bit more prep time for it, because we basically shot it immediately after seeing the movie. And I was using Windows Movie Maker, which do not ever use that for anything editing aside from just some home videos. Okay, it's useless.
I've had my experience in that, but again, way back when that was pretty much like there wasn't. We were still using AOL Messenger and shit. So
yeah. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. We did another one for Dread 3D. That one turned out pretty well, actually, except visually the quality was just crappy. And it was crappy because we shot it in the middle of the day. He had a window behind him, and it was like blaring light through. And also, I had to constantly re-render everything because it was the only way to get to work with Movie Maker. And then for the third one, I got Adobe Premiere Pro. We shot that, we cut it together. That one turned out great. It was a little dark, but it was for the crow, so that kind of made sense. And that was the last one we did. We had a bit of a falling out afterwards, and I tried going it on my own with my second blog or website, whatever, called Griffith Galaxy Production. Those videos did not turn out very well, mostly because of a lack of motivation on my part. And then I just kind of stopped doing all this stuff before I got into the Nerd Hub stuff. And I'm trying to get back into it. Because I really do enjoy shooting and editing these things. And what we're going to do is I have two series in mind, okay? First is called Tabletops with Trey. I am a big tabletop RPG guy. Love Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, all that stuff. And recently, I had a bunch of coworkers ask me to GM a game for them. They had never played before. And which we're still going to do. It's currently on hiatus because I was basically working 50 hours a week over at a second-rate wing joint with food that's far better than it has any right to be. Yeah, that's how I describe it. And what I noticed, though, is the biggest problem with this is that nobody really knew what the hell they were doing in that. When they were trying to roll up their characters and whatnot. They didn't know what the Constitution, what all the modifiers meant, what this meant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut together a series that's called Tabletops with Trey, which is going to be made up partially of kind of how to make a basic warrior tutorials, basic mage, basic ranger, all that, primarily for 5th edition at first, and then we'll like go into Pathfinder and things like that later on. And it's also partially inspired by another YouTube series, or blip series, I guess you might say, back when that was still a thing, called Counter Monkey. And what Counter Monkey was, it was a series of videos done by Spoony, Noah Antweller, I can't pronounce his last name, the Spoony one, whatever you want to call him, who basically kind of just sat down in front of the camera and just told his audience about weird D&D stories he'd had in the past. And I'm going to probably incorporate that into it as well.
And so...
Ah! What was that?
What?
Hello? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay,
technical difficulties with the Mystery Eagle Maniac over there. No worries. So basically, that series also inspired another series that we're going to be doing, where me and Trey will both play. Because I'm gonna, I don't really play tabletops anymore, so I'm kind of rusty. But Trey's good at them, so he's gonna run it with me. But we're gonna start doing one after that, where we do different games. Different new games that we're not familiar with, and we learn them together and kind of play and review them. So that's another tabletop board and card thing we're gonna do. And then you're gonna be doing the comic book spotlight video forum, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure which one is going to be the first one, in all honesty, but I am going to attempt to start putting these into a video form. And the first one that I'm thinking of doing is going to be for the new Spider-Man movie. I'm going to be taking a look at the first appearance of the Vulture, and I've skimmed that comic and a bit. I haven't fully read it, and it's looking like there's going to be quite a bit of content in that for that. Uh-oh, someone's calling you.
No, I set an alarm.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's looking like this one could be, there could be enough content in there to actually get a full-blown video out of that. We'll see, because I have a lot of stuff going on in June, unfortunately. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yes.
But if that does not work out, the next one's going to be for some kind of Dark Tower comic. And if for some reason that doesn't work out, it'll be for Justice League based on the first volume of the New 52 for Justice League, entitled Origin. So we'll see how that comes together.
And speaking of a lot of things coming up in June, you got, if I'm correct, you're talking about
You're breaking up there, man. I can't hear you at all.
If I'm correct, you're talking about your visit to con, right, in DC?
Yes, I am going to be going to AwesomeCon later in June. That's gonna be an interesting experience. I haven't been to Washington in a while. I've never been to AwesomeCon before. Supposedly Stan Lee is going to be there, unless he decides to cancel at the last second. He's been known to do that. The guy's in his mid-90s, so you can expect that. It's understandable. But I'm just saying, man, the band is old.
Yeah.
I mean, if he has some kind of health problem, I'm not gonna begrudge him for not wanting to show up.
Yeah, at C2E2, he basically did the same thing. He almost canceled everything that he had scheduled, but he was there, and like he was in the back room, and you could have all the comic people booths. You could pay them to go have them immediately get it signed by Stan Lee.
So what, you couldn't actually go and meet him or anything like that?
I don't know for sure. I didn't see him, but then again, I was all over the place. I didn't try and make it my mission to go see him. He might have still been somewhere, but he did not appear everywhere he was supposed to.
Okay, that makes sense. Because like I said, the guy's in his mid-90s, it's understandable that he wouldn't be able to show up to anything. But what I'm more excited about for that one is that they have Scott Snyder being there, and
yes.
And for me that actually does kind of mean a lot, because I really do want to meet this guy and just tell him a few things, because in a lot of ways he was the guy who was responsible for getting me back into comics when the New 52 debuted.
Yes.
And the New 52 was a very flawed run. I will not deny that. But pretty much anything that Scott Snyder wrote was gold. You know, Batman, his run on Swamp Thing was just, oh my god, that was so good.
Even now.
Then there was also Superman.
What was it?
Yes?
Superboy or Superman?
No, Swamp. No, and then I was going to say Superman Unchained.
Superman.
That was really good.
I haven't read that one.
That was really good.
But I was going to say...
Oh, it's so good, man.
Even now, his All-Star Batman, love it. In fact, actually, on Twitter, we had a conversation with him, with Scott Snyder, about All-Star Batman when #1 was coming out, which was pretty cool. But I'd agree, Scott Snyder also pretty much influenced me back into comics, because I read him back in the 90s, fell off, and then around New 52 got back into it, and Batman was a big part of that. So,
yeah. And on a side note, I finally actually started getting caught back up with the New 52, and I'm going to start reading Rebirth for some stuff later in the year. And just as a weird side note, did you know that the Darkseid War comic was about Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor going at it? How have I not read this thing yet?
Is that the one?
That's fucking amazing!
Is that the one where...
How have I not know this?
He's so...
Oh my god!
So excited about it. Is that the one where he has, like, a daughter or something like that?
Yeah, and apparently she's plotting with the Anti-Monitor to kill him or something.
I read the first couple.
Just like,
I really liked it. I think I got too caught up at work and I fell off, unfortunately. So now that you mentioned that, I actually have been thinking about recollecting the rest of those. So
it's actually the one reason why I haven't read anything in the Rebirth is because I hadn't read any of this stuff, and because apparently something happens at the end of it that causes the whole Rebirth event, and I really wanted to read this first, and I'm just like, okay, it's Darkseid War, Darkseid's probably blitzkrieging the Earth or something like that again. It's probably something I've seen a billion times before, and I look at the back the other week and I see it's like, what?
Yeah. So,
how did I not know this?
Speaking of stuff, schedules being packed and cons, I was, I'm going to Wizard World in August, right? But I'm also going back to Florida to see Guardians with Brian and go over some things in June. So my schedule's kind of packed, upcoming. But then I saw online, I don't know what kind of music you listen to really, but I listen to all sorts. And there's a Logic concert on the beach in Chicago coming up in August, and I was like, I really want to go, But then I looked at the date, and it was the 24th, which is the first of 4 days of Wizard World. So I'm contemplating whether I should skip out on the first, because it only starts at like 5. It was like 10 that day. It's a Thursday, But I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do there, but it's a decision I got to make. But yeah, as far as packed schedules go, I've actually had 4 days off of work this week.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so it was good because it was building up to the podcast. We got some time to try and catch up on as much as we could and prepare for it and write a sort of loose script. But I've been pretty much cramming every movie and television show I could in, because I also got next week I'm going to be working with Whit, Marlon, John, and Remington on the Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow full season roundtable reviews. We did the mid-seasons a few months back. Turned out well, but we did promise full season, so we're doing that, and we're also doing a full season for Riverdale. So I've had a lot to catch up on between the podcast and that. And plus the news has been off the rails this week, so it's like every time I try and watch a movie or something, I gotta, report on something. It's crazy, but I literally got like 3 hours sleep today, because I went to bed at like 7 a.m. or something like that, because I went to this place last night called Ignite Gaming Lounge. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a gaming lounge, have you?
I actually have not.
Okay, so neither have I until today. I don't know, if this place is better or worse than others or whatever, but basically for those who haven't been to a gaming lounge, this one, it was super cool. They have every system. They don't have the Switch yet, but they're getting it. but they have, they have couch play, they have, circles with monitors and DX racer chairs and headsets, and it's all very nice stuff. It's low lit. You could party up with your people, with the people there, or by yourself. It's not expensive. I didn't think it was going to be. I mean, I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be this cheap. So that's good. And everything's clean and fixed. And the best part about it is there's a snack bar, and you get food and shakes and Red Bulls or whatever. It's a big snack bar, and they give you a number, and you bring it back to your play area, and they bring the food right to you as you're playing your game.
Oh, nice!
Yeah. And then I tried bringing my trash back to the snack bar, and they were like, "Dude, just leave it on the table. When you get up, we'll come back and get it." I was like, "What?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, full waiter and everything. We were on PC, we were on Xbox One, we were on PS4, we were on the Wii U. Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's low lit. Everyone's talking. Everyone's cool. It's in a warehouse building.
Okay.
Kind of like by itself, so it's not too crazy. It's not too packed, but there's enough people to have meet people and such. And it's funny because sometimes you'll be playing and you'll be in your party and you hear some guy rage in the background through your mic. Yeah, so everyone gets the whole scene. These are all pure gamers, so there's there's no kids because it's till 3 a.m. So
yeah,
I mean probably earlier in the day around 2 p.m. when it opens there is some, but we go in the late night after work. And it's cool. You can just sit there and play games you haven't played because they have huge galleries for all of them. There's 80 games per system. So
jeez Louise.
Yeah, and including brand new releases. They already have Injustice 2. They got it when it comes out. Everything's got season passes.
Nice.
It's got private servers. You can log, when you go to PC, you can log into their TeamSpeak servers. You could log into your own. You can play your Spotify through your headset. It's complete chill. And the reason
do you pay $20 or something to get in?
Yeah, it's there's 1 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour.
Okay.
And then there's a nighttime unlimited play, 9 to 3 a.m. So at $15,
cool.
That's what we paid.
Nice.
And you just basically you go in and they give you the controllers and they set you up in the system and bring it back.
Cool.
So and there's a lot of workers there, so they're always there ready to assist you on things in case you're not familiar with some of the platforms that are there, but you want to try them and test them out and see what they have to offer. There's people there that will, give you assistance and such. Dude, I was playing PC. We were playing PC, and next to us there was two guys, and they were speaking I don't know, so Mandarin or some shit. It was tripping, bro. So anyway, my point is, bringing this up is we have, amongst many new things like wrestling and such coming out, we're really putting a focus on gaming. We have several tournaments that we're working on, including Rainbow Six Siege and Injustice 2. But they're online only, and which is fine because it allows us to get players from all over to have an experience. And we're going to be streaming them as well, streaming the matchups. But this place gave me the idea of starting a local event in Chicago of tournaments, LAN tournaments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're gonna be, me and my brother are gonna be putting some work into that soon.
Okay.
Also, it's just like I said, it's just a cool place. So I'm thinking about getting a GoPro and just recording, and then chopping it up and doing a vlog of Ignite.
Yeah, that could work.
Gaming night or something. I don't know. With just ideas, but I wanted to mention that. Yeah. So let's.
Since we're talking about gaming.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some the various games that have come out this year. How many of you actually played?
You know what? For the past 6 or 7 months, I have pretty much played almost 0 games, unfortunately, because before that, I was your guy. You know, I could tell you about any fucking game. But I just things haven't worked out. I'm looking into changing that, especially with more focus here on gaming. So I'll be able to give you more opinions on games maybe in the upcoming podcast. But as of right now, I haven't really played many video games. So let's run down the list, and if I've played it, I'll give my opinion. If I haven't, I won't.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I can give you.
Okay, well, I'll just like pretty much sum it up with like one sentence if you haven't played it. Resident Evil 7.
Ooh. Your sentence?
Resident Evil 7. What about? I'm asking you. And
oh, you said you're gonna sum it up in one sentence. What the fuck?
No, if you didn't have anything to say, that's what I meant.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. Resident Evil 7. All right, I'll go. I played the first few chapters, and I watched my cousin beat it several times. From what I've played, the gameplay smooth. I like it. I like the features. From what I've watched, story is good.
It's basic,
but it's basic, and it kind of aggravates some people. So that's an opinional matter. But I do suggest playing it. It's definitely worth the money, in my opinion. But Trey beat it and wrote an article on it, which you can view on Trey's Take On. So you give your opinion on that.
Insert gratuitous advertisement. But yeah, no, the game is pretty good. I really did enjoy it. The thing that I know, like you were saying, I'm going to expand on that a bit. The people are a little irritated. The plot is so basic. I personally like that because I'm one of those people who thinks the plot of the Resident Evil franchise is fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's the kind of weird, over-the-top, anti-corporate, wish fulfillment sort of stuff that is really fun and I wish did happen, in all honesty, but it's so silly. I mean, just they intentionally unleash a zombie virus in Raccoon City, which literally destroys their own corporation. I mean, what? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not really. It doesn't really follow each other too well either. It's pretty much a choppy, messy series. So it was good to see them kind of like reboot almost and just do something original.
Exactly.
So that was that.
Halo Wars 2 now.
Halo Wars 2, right? Yeah, I didn't play it.
Oh, you did?
I didn't.
Oh, well, you don't need to play Halo Wars 2. That's about all I got to say.
You don't need to, or you don't want to.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Okay, nothing special.
That's all I can really have to say.
All right.
Yeah, it's built on a very outdated game design and doesn't really do anything new. And what really bugged me about it is like it was developed by the Creative Assembly, the guys who did the Total War games. I'm just like, you just do a copy and paste job from the last game. That's all you really have to bring. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I gotta say about that one.
Yep. So, Horizon Zero Dawn is next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I also didn't play that.
You didn't play it?
No.
It's okay. It's a lot of people love it apparently, but I'm just like, aside from killing giant robots with bows and arrows, it doesn't have much of an appeal beyond that. Its plot isn't particularly interesting. Its open world gameplay is just open world gameplay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so it's basically just your basic open world RPG crafting.
It's done slightly better.
But
it's done slightly better.
An original idea, at least.
Yeah, I would say that. It's Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Did you play that?
No, actually, I because I haven't played video games in the last 7 months, I put off buying my Pro and Switch. So basically, no, that's impossible.
Good luck finding a Switch, by the way.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
Yeah, it's I want to touch on that briefly. I think it's kind of It's, you know, it's Nintendo being Nintendo, and I don't know what the hell is wrong with those people. What they keep doing is they ship out very limited number of items, like they did it with the NES Classic, they did it with Amiibos, and now they're doing it with the Switch, so
yeah, Super Nintendo
very limited
Classic.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and they're just gonna wait until like a few more months, and then they're actually gonna start shipping them regularly, and they're gonna sell like hotcakes.
I mean, you really can't blame them because
no, you can't. That's the worst part about it. It works.
It works, and not only that, but it makes perfect sense, you know, as a consumer too. Because if you think about it, on launch, there's only a handful of titles, so only a handful of people want it. So you just produce enough for them, and then once you get another slew of titles onto your thing, you put another, you know, wave of systems for those interested in those titles, you know, and you don't produce shit you're not going to sell, and that's how Nintendo stays in business, and you can't knock them for it.
No, it's bullshit in my opinion that they do that, but at the same time, you can't argue with the success of it. You know, it's just
it works.
All right,
fuck it. Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Did you play that one yet?
No.
Oh well. Okay then. Well, I personally have been enjoying it. I have not beaten it yet. There are a lot of ideas from the original trilogy that are being recycled, which I find very annoying. And graphics-wise, it's not very impressive, I'll say that much. It has a lot of weird facial animation glitches. But the actual artistic style of it is beautiful. It's a very bright and colorful and joyful game. And I do appreciate that after the complete and utter self-serious, grimdark borderline stuff of the original trilogy. So, I haven't beaten it yet. Maybe the ending is going to piss me off. Never know. But we'll see. We'll see on that one. Yeah. And I think it's... Oh! Did you hear about the Bulletstorm Gearbox G2A thing?
Very little.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what happened was that Gearbox partnered with a website called G2A, which is a website that resells video game keys.
Right.
And it's very widely believed that a lot of the keys they got are obtained through stolen credit cards and things like that.
And Gearbox is a fully legitimate company, so that's
Oh yeah, that whole Colonial Marines thing. Yeah, that was fully legitimate. That's for sure.
In case you guys can't sense it, we have major sarcasm here, and holy fuck, my cat is under this table. It's like a coffee table type chest, but it opens up on the top like a desk, you know. But the thing is, like, there's a chance if you hit it wrong, it could fly down. Which won't happen, I don't think. But yeah, the cat's right under the fucking thing, and if it goes down, the cat's dead. Get the hell out of here. Get out. Ah, fuck. All right, so as far as video games, we just covered pretty much everything Trey's played on this for 2017 so far, and like I said, I haven't played anything really. So
I'm sorry.
We're gonna go on to upcoming games, right?
The next one that's coming out that I have any interest in is actually the new Fire Emblem game. I might be getting that later this afternoon. I haven't decided yet, but I'm just gonna briefly talk about that. Have you played the Fire Emblem games?
I haven't. I've watched a few of them online, but actually I forgot. Before we continue, I have played one game with enough time to give a solid assessment this year, and that would be Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh, I forgot. That came out earlier this year, didn't it?
Actually, it came out just in time for my birthday, so I treated myself to it, and
nice.
I'm just gonna give a quick 10 out of 10. Yeah, that.
Damn, I think you're in love.
Okay, all right. Even if I'm being critical, I'd say no less than an 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're really enjoying it. I have not touched the game myself. I'm not really a big Ghost Recon or Tom Clancy guy in general. But that's a whole other.
Yeah, I do love all of Tom Clancy. I will admit to that. I've Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon. I've Rainbow Six. Man, Rainbow Six 3 really turned me on to Tom Clancy back when I was younger. With my uncle playing that. But the best thing about Wildlands is not only what it's got, but its potential. See, have you ever played Dying Light or The Crew? No?
Briefly.
Okay, so basically,
I'm
a dying thing these days is expansion packs. Okay? We don't really have full-out expansion packs. I mean, we did have it in Star Wars Battlefront. We'll move on from that. But we also had it in The Crew and The Following, and those were good games. But it's basically a whole second game incorporated into your first game, and that is a seller because you could play that game for 2 years, have a ton of content, and get a whole nother game for fucking half the price. It's like, so it's dying, obviously. But it does happen from time to time. And the thing about it is you have to have a game that allows the possibility. And Wildlands is literally the biggest map. I'm not going to say this for sure, but I'm pretty sure this is the biggest map any console game has ever had. I'm going to even throw it up against Skyrim and shit. Yeah, it's huge. And the biggest thing about it is a lot of it's open area, mountains, jungles, little town. So there's potential to build new buildings and towns for expansions to create new mission types and such. So there's a lot of potential for that, and that's what really put it up in points for me. It's too soon to tell if they'll do that because they haven't even gotten through the first season, I should say. But oh, you know what?
Look at it, you see potential.
Yeah, I see potential as well as the quality. So it gives it a little. That's what boosts it from an 8.5 to a 10 right now.
Okay.
Rainbow Six Siege, I know it didn't come out last year, but it's pretty much the game my go-to game still because it also is still releasing content. It's on its second season of content. So you don't always have to go buy create a whole new fucking game to be successful. You can give me content for the same game that's working, but new content, and I'll still buy it. But don't jip me. Don't force me into microtransaction walls like GTA. I finally quit playing GTA because I just can't do it anymore.
Too many microtransactions.
Yeah, it's basically built to where if you don't buy shark cards, don't cheat, or don't play 24/7, you can't do anything. And
that's a lot of online games I've noticed.
Yeah, and that's why I try and stray away from online. But Ghost Recon doesn't really do that. Everything's in it, just like Rainbow. So that's why I kind of like Ghost Recon a lot. Anyway, on to new games.
Okay, well, like I said, the next one that's coming out that I have any interest in, which actually just came out today, is the new Fire Emblem game. I actually don't know a damn thing about this game, to tell you the truth. All I know is that Fire Emblem has always been kind of this franchise that I'm constantly going back to because the way I would describe it is that it's a Game of Thrones series if Game of Thrones was made for 10-year-olds. And sometimes that kind of palate cleanser is good when you constantly have these various grimdark fantasies like Witcher or my personal favorite series. Well, it's not really a series. It's all these books done by one author named Joe Abercrombie. And I read a lot of stuff like that that's always like really grim. It's really brutal. You're never sure if the characters are going to get through any situation alive. And the Fire Emblem games have always been kind of a good palate cleanser in that regard. Just like have a complete vanilla, straight up good guys, straight up bad guys, have your story, fight the evil bad guy, take him down.
Yeah.
And I find that very charming at times, and it's the kind of games that I always end up going back to when I just need something a little joyful in my life, and I'm probably gonna get that. And if you haven't played any of the Fire Emblem games, I would recommend, like, it's kind of like the best kind of, like, just the game that kind of encapsulates the entire series in one is a game called Fire Emblem Awakening. You have all the stuff that makes Fire Emblem great, so yeah, get that one if nothing else.
Sounds good.
But we'll see about that.
Before we continue on to the next 3 or 4 games that we want to talk about before we switch to movies real quick, because we are running out of time, I do want to note, because I just noticed an airplane going over me. For anyone, I do live next to an airport. I did do.
Which one do you live next to, by the way?
Huh? O'Hare.
Which one do you live near? O'Hare?
I've lived next to both. I've literally lived next to across the street from Midway. But the thing about O'Hare is it's international, so it's fucking huge and it's always busy, and they go right over me. So I just wanted to point that out. People have probably heard that in the background, but like I said, I did the test, so I don't think it interfered. But in case anyone was wondering what the fuck that sound was, that's what it is.
It was Doom. Okay, so upcoming games. Let's go over that real quick. Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Any thoughts on that?
I didn't finish Shadow of Mordor. Is it called the last one? I think.
The Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I didn't finish that one yet. I did like the game though. I just had to put it up. I haven't gotten around to getting back to it. But as far as the new trailer, it looks potentially good, but it also, from the trailer at least, looks convoluted.
It's the prequel problem when all is said and done.
Yeah.
So yeah. So not much more. I don't really have much more to say on that one, to tell you the truth. Destiny 2, I didn't even play Destiny 1, so I have nothing.
I played Destiny 1 for a while, a couple months. Fell off. I haven't been back on, but my cousin plays it all the time. I wish he was on this podcast for that, damn it. But basically, from what I can tell, is they're constantly making improvements to fix things, but it's, I guess, much like Battlefront, they just decided to make a second one to fix everything. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Speaking of Battlefront, another game that I was extremely hyped for, because of the past Battlefronts, but just kind of was blah. It didn't fulfill my expectations. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. It wasn't good.
It was mediocre.
It was mediocre. Yeah, exactly. I did like the Rogue One DLC. That was cool. Again, that game also made some changes that made it a little better, but in the end, they left it for a sequel. So speaking of that sequel, you want to go first on that? Because I actually have, because I actually have quite a bit to say about this.
Honestly, I just looked at the trailer briefly, but honestly, I never watched it all the way through. It's just, okay, it's another Battlefront game. It's made by DICE again. I've never been the biggest fan of the Battlefront series on the whole, so
right.
It's not really. I can tell them. Apparently it's following a protagonist who is actually an Imperial hero. That's a good angle. That's one that I've been kind of dying to see Star Wars take. That's really all I have to say about it, though.
One of the biggest issues with number one was lack of campaign. They had so many things that kind of you could see, different modes where you're like, why isn't a campaign in here? And it was like, So Battlefront 2 set out, and here's what I know about it. The campaign follows after Return of the Jedi and the fallout and how they respond to the death of the Emperor, and you're a soldier leading the Inferno Squad, as they call it. I love that idea also, being the bad guy and seeing, just something we've never seen before or rarely have seen or haven't seen in a while, depending on how you look at it. But the neat thing about it is official Star Wars canon. Official. Like, in the movies, canon. Official canon. So this is going to be something everyone who watches or reads or anything Star Wars is going to want to play and see. At the very least, watch someone play. Because it's canon. And being that it's so close to the new franchise, that makes it all the more important. Thing is about this is it's co-op capable.
Oh.
It's co-op capable.
Okay.
They said Luke and Kylo are both playable characters in the campaign. It's co-op via online and split screen. Something. Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So.
Whoa.
Everything basically games have been doing wrong. This game is taking and doing right. And they basically listened to what the fans said. And you know what? I have to give it to EA. They had a rough patch where they've been doing shit. They really went down the toilet. But if you notice from this, apparently, and from the last Need for Speed, they really have been... I don't know if they had a change ahead. I think they did. I don't know. But they've been really listening to fans lately in the past few years. So that's what's going to save them.
Another time, but I'll get into this some other time.
Yeah.
The problem with... I would briefly talk on this. When it comes to the gaming industry, the problem is that the CEOs and marketers and whatnot all have backgrounds in packaged goods, basically. Just like they were people who were board of directors or whatever for like McDonald's and stuff like that. It's like it's all just stuff you shit out as much as you can.
And that's what's been ruining gaming. So it's nice to see that a lot of companies like EA is trying to change that. Bethesda doesn't do that. That's good. So there are still good potential in gaming, and it's nice to see it every once in a while. But gaming definitely has become so big that some of it has just become corporate crap. But basically, for Battlefront, the multiplayer changes are the heroes, a whole new system, customizable, upgradable, and you get heroes from all generations. I'm talking Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I'm talking Luke and Leia and Han. I'm talking Rey and Jyn Erso. And not only that, but if you pre-order, you get exclusive Last Jedi shit. Boom.
Of course. But
and not only that, but there's space battles. Okay. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do it where you can integrate from your ship onto ground in a bigger ship and run around the ship and then, jump back into space, or it's just space, or because they kind of did like a half-ass update space battle with the one of the updates and the other one where it was just like a flight battle, like the other flight battles they had above the ground. But so I'm really hoping that's not it. But it looks like it has potential to not be that, or at least improved on that. Because everything else. So we'll see. But the one thing you need to know is Walt Williams. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was a writer for 2K games, and he wrote Spec Ops: The Line. Have you ever played that?
Yes, I have. And he's writing the story for this?
He is.
Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting.
Yes.
Oh boy.
If you haven't played Spec Ops: The Line, whoever's listening, go play it right now. It's something every gamer needs to experience.
Yeah. I agree.
We'll leave it at that. The ad as well is for Battlefield 2. So what's COD World War II?
You know what? If you're actually watching this podcast on YouTube or something like that, I'm going to put an image in at this part of it so you'll fully understand why it is that I'm not too hyped for this game. And it's like, it's like I said in my article I did in this, there's something about this trailer just seems really, really familiar, and that's why. Yeah.
It's been done before.
You'll understand it if you watch this portion of it.
I'm gonna defend some people in this manner. It hasn't been done in a long time, and it can still be done different. And from the trailer, it looks potentially good. But here's the thing about Call of Duty: their trailers always look good. Their games
they always look amazing.
Don't often fulfill the trailer. So I'm not holding my breath. I will try it on one condition. Here's what I wanted to say about it. Okay, so Activision on their website recently added a feature that's never been added before for any other game, including Infinite Warfare, where you can set up your COD profile on Nintendo. So,
really,
the going around thought is potentially a Switch port. Now, you say, maybe it's a reach. Well, here's the thing. Bnox, I think they call themselves, it's a developer company. They took to Twitter to kind of hint at that. Now, Bnox is, they've done Wii ports before with Skylander Superchargers and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, but they also work with Activision a lot. They did the Modern Warfare remasters. They do Black Ops ports, or Black Ops 3 ports. So we'll see. I mean, they might be behind it, and they might bring it to Switch. If they do, well, that's when I'll get it, because I'll need games for the Switch. Otherwise, I will probably not get it. At the very least, I might rent it and try it or watch it. But I just...
You'll wait to hear what I have to say about it.
I don't... Yeah, exactly. I don't... Call of Duty, unfortunately, I'm done with. As well as Battlefield. I've played too many of them, you know? It's fatigue. Like, the other day, I was back on Black Ops 2 at this Ignite, and, dude, I will still run that shit. But I'm not interested in any new ones, you know? It's just not my thing anymore. So I still haven't gotten Titanfall 2, and I really like Titanfall 2, and I really want to get it. So before I get any fucking shooter, that's going to be it. Fuck World War 2.
Mech battles!
Right.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about Shenmue 3, actually. We have a list here, but there's nothing to
skip
say
that.
on
Okay,
right now.
before we go to movies, because we're actually running out of time here, so we're going to do a speed run. Basically, 1 to 2 sentences, if we can, unless you have really... heavy thought on it, which I don't think we do. And then like a grade, because we're running out of time. But before we do that, quick, we're gonna touch a little on comics. Okay, not as much as we wanted to, but basically there's one issue going around that it seems
Magneto and Captain America are Nazis. What the fuck?
Yeah, pretty much. It's either people are loving it or they're hating it, and it's Secret Empire. Captain America and Magneto and such are Nazis. And
wait, who else is a Nazi?
You say I don't remember. I think there's another one or another few. Look, point is, this series, from what I've read, it's actually pretty good. And I hate to say that because I don't like anything Nick Spencer. And he's the one running it. But the downside is, now they've expanded it from a focused miniseries to a whole blowout bullshit event. Thanks, Nick Spencer. Yeah, so now it's shit again.
People give me shit for liking, oh god, what's his name? The guy who's doing Guardians right now.
Yeah, Bendis.
Brian Michael Bendis. You give me shit for liking Brian Michael Bendis' stuff, and you see this shit? God.
Yeah, right? No, fuck it. I don't like Nick Spencer, and I think the story is good, and I will say it's not ruining everything Captain America. Okay, it's a reality warp. It's an event, and it is good. I'm not going to continue reading it because other than the main series, because or maybe like some characters I really enjoy, because it's hard to keep up with comics as it is, like extremely hard. And I don't like big events because that just makes it extremely hard, like to the 10th degree. So
yeah, it is.
But I will say, calm your shit, people. Read the fucking thing. Enjoy it. It'll blow over. It'll go back to normal. It's a reality warp. And fucking move on. Stop crying. Shut up. Like, Marvel has been shit the last few years. Absolute shit.
I would disagree on that one. But,
I know. You will disagree. But, I mean, overall quality. There's some few titles that are really, really good. Few titles. But overall, they're really not, like, I don't know what the word for it is, but I don't know. Maybe I have
the quality of them has decreased since you had legitimately great writers like Chris Claremont and George Perez.
The quality is
80s.
decreasing. I say shit because I've experienced incredible Marvel stories, so I have a higher quality. But I guess if I'm being realistic, I could say most of their stuff has been mediocre. I guess.
Yeah, that's probably the word for it. It's definitely, maybe this could just be nostalgia speaking on our behalf, but honestly, it does seem like lately it
seems like they don't care.
What it is it's a couple things. It's the thing about the comic book industry is that you have the initial issue that sells really well, and then it gradually declines. Like each issue sells significantly less and less and less, and so they have to throw in some kind of attention-grabbing gimmick to revitalize sales. That's the problem, and because of stuff like that, you can't really keep a consistent quality because your entire medium is literally built around gimmicks. And that's why if, say, you read the Walking Dead comic, for example, it's a lot faster paced than the actual show. And that the reason of that is because you got to keep things moving at a comic book. You have to keep the gimmicks going. You have to keep the shock value up in order to keep people reading.
What was that? I missed that. Well, what's better in the comics than the actual show? What?
No. What it is that whereas in comics, like in say The Walking Dead, things are constantly going, and it has more shock value to it. Whereas in the show, it's a bit slower paced and can actually, slowly kind of
and
more of a slow burn.
Before we move on, I do want to note that Marvel can fix this if they do the right things. Now, they've already made a move, but that Entertainment Weekly guy, they're making moves up top, and they need
he's like
to
a new marketing guy,
because apparently they just don't get what to do. Now, DC, New 52, obviously problematic. Some gems, obviously, just like Marvel probably still has their gems, but it was mostly problematic in that time, and that's what Marvel seems to be suffering from now, whereas the script has turned and DC's Rebirth has pretty much all but been, it's almost everything they've put out has been phenomenal. And I guess that's as far as we're gonna go for this. Maybe we'll keep that for another thing. But pretty much Marvel can do better, and that's what pisses me off. I've seen Marvel do better, and I'm seeing DC do better, and I know they could do better, so they need to do better. We'll leave it at that.
I agree. I agree on that one. So, let's go through movies real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so, did you see Split?
Split, no. Haven't seen it yet, unfortunately. I am going to see it. That and Alien, which I haven't seen either, next week.
Okay. Split, it's okay. It's easily the best M. Night Shyamalan movie that he's done since, I guess, Signs, really? But it's mostly worth watching because of the ending. And trust me, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've seen M. Night Shyamalan's other movies. Yeah. John Wick Chapter 2? Have you seen it? No? We'll turn off this podcast. We'll turn off this podcast and go see it. That's all I have to say on that matter.
You're gonna. I don't know if I told you this. I think I did, but basically, I went to see it, and because I was tired from work, I fell asleep. 3 scenes in, 1 scene in, something. I don't know, but so I don't know. But I highly enjoyed the first one, and from what I was watching in the first scene or so, it kicks off right away with the phenomenal fighting and such. So. I'm definitely going to rewatch it. If you like John Wick 1, you like John Wick 2. I could already tell you that.
Absolutely. Logan.
Okay, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. It's more like 8.5 again, but it's...
No, it's a 10. Yeah, well... We're not that.
Yeah, alright, it's 10. We try and be critical and don't sound like, 10 out of 10. It's just 10 out of 10 everything, but it is a 10 out of 10. It really is.
It's easily the best movie that the best
comic book adaptation
X-Men movie that Fox has done, and is easily the best thing they will ever do. Yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Basically, if you've ever enjoyed any comic book film of any sort, whether superhero or like fucking Road to Perdition or whatever, any comic book thing has ever interested you, this is a movie you need to see. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, this is easily one of the best things that the entire comic book movie
and I cried. I cried. I think everybody cried. It was like the end of Harry Potter. It was the end of an era, and so it's definitely
it's like watching your childhood come to an end. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was rough, but it was good. It was good.
Oh Oh, yeah.
So what's next?
Yeah. Kong Skull Island.
Oh,
it was fun. I liked it. It was fun.
I give it a 9. It was extremely well done, but here's the thing: it's something we've seen before, lots of times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's true.
As we've seen it. Granted, like I said, I liked the way they did it. It was good pacing. Everyone was at a certain spot, and it explained, but not like blatantly explained. They had a purpose for being there. You know, it played well. It was a good watch. Maybe I'm a little more giving it a higher grade than others because I actually enjoyed all the Kongs. But this one was my favorite. The last one was great, but it was way too long. Yeah. But this one was done in 2 hours, I think, and it was paced very well. It was, you know, like I said, everything's accounted for. The fight between Kong and what do they call them? Skull crawlers or whatever?
Skull Crusher, Skull Crawler, something like that.
Whatever, dude. John C. Reilly.
It was really invented by John C. Reilly, who was insane. So it makes sense that the name's kind of silly.
So basically, the characters are great. The visuals are great. The fights are great. I like the fight that it wasn't just blow for blow. They actually introduced some cool things. I'm not going to spoil it. Just go watch it. It's definitely worth a watch, especially if you like King Kong or Godzilla or really anything exploration into the jungle type thing. It's a must watch.
And if like, you know, Godzilla 2014 didn't do it for you, like it did not do it for me.
It did for me.
I would say this is. Yeah, well, I would say like this is a nicer,
much better
treat than that.
And it also it's a must because it's tying in from Godzilla 2014 too, which is Gareth Edwards' version, right? So it ties in from that to the upcoming King Kong vs. Godzilla, as well as Godzilla 2 and blah blah blah, the whole monster universe. So it's a must watch anyway. So it really doesn't matter of our fucking opinion, because if you like that stuff, you're gonna watch it anyway, really. So
yeah, pretty much.
So
Power Rangers.
You haven't seen it, right?
I don't want to.
He's dreading it. Okay, I wasn't dreading it. He was. I will say the things that he is dreading are there, but nowhere near in the level he thinks they are. The movie actually, surprisingly, I thought it'd be okay. I thought it'd be acceptable, and it is. But it surprisingly pleased me. It's basically a reinvention of what we loved, but just updated, I guess. It's not. They don't change things too much. It's still, you know, Power Rangers, and that's what matters. As long as it's still Power Rangers, and it is. And the film craft wise wasn't perfect, but it was good. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but there's some good Easter eggs in there. I think I caught Amy Jo Johnson in the scene, in one of the final scenes.
She was in it.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna give it a 7 to 8. It's a good watch. If you like Power Rangers, you'll like it. That's all there is to it. It's nothing you have to watch, but it's definitely.
It's a decent way to spend a lazy afternoon.
Right. It was fun, and there were some things you could talk about with your friends that were pretty cool, especially with the after credit scene. So I don't think. Actually, give me 1 second. I wrote some things I actually wanted to bring up on this too. Yeah. Another one of the movies. So Power Rangers, real quick. One of the things I didn't like, but can accept, is Goldar. I don't think he should.
Yeah, wasn't he just like a giant monster made of like gold poop?
He was essentially turned into Rita's Megazord. What a waste of a character, right? But
what?
But I can accept it because Goldar has always been attached to Rita. But I would have liked to see Goldar have such a personality like Rita. But well, I'll live with it.
Just read the Boom Studio comic if you want to see a better version of Goldar. That's all I
right. Oh yes, and read his article on it.
Yeah. Insert some more ads.
Power Ranger comic going on right now. Very good. So the next movie would be Ghost in the Shell. Okay. I'm not going to go too big into the controversy because I've given my opinion on this matter as it's come up with Iron Fist and Spider-Man and blah blah in the group, which is facebook.com/group/thenerthub. But basically, this film, I've never seen anything Ghost in the Shell before this, so keep that in mind. But the biggest issue that people didn't like is that they cast Scarlett Johansson. But guess what? It makes sense. The Ghost.
She gives good robot. She gives, the
Ghost.
When it comes right down to it, when you have a woman who is literally known for two things, a very detached kind of acting and being too fucking good for nature to have designed her, casting her as an actual robot kind of makes sense.
Exactly. It's a ghost in a shell, okay? She has to be detached like that, and she does it well. And not only that, but the ghost, which is, if you don't know anything about it, it's basically the person they put into the shell. They put their brain into the shell of a robot, but they call it Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell. Hey, but the ghost character is Japanese, okay?
Yeah,
but the shell is American. That's why this works for Scarlett Johansson, because I don't want to spoil too much, but they essentially tell a lie, and this shell builds into that lie. So it makes perfect sense to have Scarlett Johansson cast, or any American cast. I'll just say that. So don't let that detach you from, to make you not want to go see it. Go see it. It's a solid film. It's quick. It's not amazing, but it definitely was a good watch, and it's given me a reason to go explore this franchise further. Moving on.
And I'm just going to say this much, this part of the podcast, if people are going to be listening to it, this is going to be a shit show. People commenting, I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But
these are some films that were very controversial, and I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Okay, so, Fate of the Furious. Did you see that?
What is it?
Fate of the Furious.
Oh, Fate of the Furious. No, I did not go see it because I still haven't seen 7.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly touch on that. It's not as good as the 7th movie, that is for sure. But it is fun. It ends on a more optimistic note than the last movie, that is for sure. The one problem that I really have with it is this. You have Jason Statham in the last movie, okay? He's practically a serial killer in that movie because he is trying to go through the main characters like Jason Voorhees or something like that.
Yeah.
And in this movie, his heel turn is so fast, is so abrupt and fast, he may as well be a completely different character.
Yeah.
And there is like one part, for example, where, I'm not going to spoil it, but it casts him in such an unmistakably heroic light that you're just like, what? Is this really the same guy that was just like butchering the cast members in the last movie? What the hell?
Yeah.
But that's my big problem with it.
But overall?
And, oh, no, it's a good time. It's fun. It's made over $1 billion at the box office. I'd say it's earned that, honestly. I'd say it's worth it. I'd say it's deserving of that much, in all honesty.
Cool.
And Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you said you're going to wait to see with your cousin.
Yes, and the reason behind that is because, if you guys don't know, my cousin, he's the one who basically inspired me to create the group and the Nerd Hub in total. And basically, I made him my co-founder, and we're basically right hand, left hand, But we watched Guardians of the Galaxy 1 together when we basically connected in Florida because we're extended family, and he's been in Florida for a while. So basically, it's significant to us, and there's some things going on with his life I won't get into, but it's hard for us to... I moved back, so it's hard for us to see each other, and there's some things going on. So it's a significant thing for us to do, so I'm really not wanting to watch that movie, so sorry for not giving you an opinion. But Trey did.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. No, actually, I haven't seen it yet, believe it or not. No, I was going to see it last night, but I got distracted by some personal things, so that didn't happen. I'm probably going to see it later tonight, actually. Everything that I've heard about it, though, says it's not as good as the last one, but it does actually develop the characters in meaningful ways, and that's kind of that's something that I can get behind at least.
So it's a standard sequel.
Yeah, a standard Marvel sequel when all is said and done. That's the one thing that they're not particularly good with movie-wise, is that their direct sequels, aside from the Captain America movies, are always just kind of meh.
Dude, the Winter Soldier.
Like I said, aside from the Captain America movies.
You're gonna get a lot of hate for that too, because you know, a lot of the Marvel people are like, "What? It's the best film to date." Every movie they come out with, it's the best film to date.
I haven't seen it.
I know, but they're not.
I couldn't tell you.
What's next?
King Arthur: Legend.
Oh my God!
I didn't see it.
He didn't see it, but I went to see it.
Did you walk?
And okay.
Did you see it for like 30 minutes?
Yeah, no, like 45 minutes. But okay, granted, I walked out because a little bit has to do with the I had been in the movie theaters for like 3 days straight trying to catch up. So yeah, but my opinion on it is I have so much opinion on this just within the 45 minutes, good and bad. One thing is, this story's been done way too many fucking times, okay? And I've always thought that the lore had too much for a single film anyway. And this film tries to cover everything. Not a section, not a part, everything. So they have to move through the story extremely fast. And that's where almost all of its problems stem from. But I do some things different. I actually had like 20, 30 notes, and I was going to go through it, but we're running out of time, so I might just go watch it again and write a full review. I'm not sure.
What I've heard about it is that originally Guy Ritchie and company pitched this as being a 3-part Lord of the Rings style epic.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
it definitely feels like it should have been 3-film continuous type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say watch it if it's your thing. If it's not, don't watch it.
Well, in all honesty, it's already been a complete and utter flop at the box office because it came out right after Guardians,
and not only that, but
right before Alien Covenant.
Fantasy and time era pieces, they have a focused fan base. They don't really sell too big. They never have, and they put a huge budget into this film.
Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
Well, right. But I mean, besides Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, I mean, what the right? So it already has that working against them because it has 2 genres that have a difficult time picking up a fan base as is. When it was released, the fact that it was compressed damages the quality. It had a huge budget, had a huge cast, so it had everything working against it. So it never had a chance, really. But if it's your thing, go watch it.
All right, so Alien Covenant, you haven't seen that yet, have you?
No.
No, neither have I. I'm seeing it on I'm seeing it on Saturday with some friends of mine.
Yeah.
But everything I've been hearing about it is that it doesn't. It's kind of more of the same. It's aliens running around, eating people.
More of the same
as
with every
usual.
Alien.
Yeah, it's good in that context at least, and apparently it does finally give an explanation as to how the xenomorphs came to be. But I'm not really sure if I want to know that answer.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna see it tomorrow, and we'll see.
So basically, if you've seen it, let us know what you thought, because we haven't seen it. We will be seeing it. You said you're seeing it Saturday. I'm gonna try for Saturday too. Maybe we'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Good or bad, we'll see. Yeah. So
okay, so upcoming movies, real quick. Wonder Woman looks really fucking good. That said, let's move on.
Wait, no, let's not move on. A couple points.
Oh, no?
Not only that, what you said, yes, agree 100%. But I want to point out that Wonder Woman, when the comic started, what era was that? Anybody know? World War.
Like the same time around Batman and Superman in the 30s.
Right, exactly. Which was start of World War One.
World War What?
Uh-huh.
No, World War Two.
World War Two was around more like mid-40s, I thought.
Yeah, and the comic came out in the late 30s.
Right, so it was at the end of World War One, right? When was World War One from?
No, World War One ended in 1918, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
anyway,
positive
World
on
War
that.
era. It was
You had
from
a whole
like.
point. You had a whole point going, and I just
It's still the point
die.
still stands. The point still stands. Because I actually wanted to elaborate on that. The point is, World War era is when this character came out, so they're doing World War, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's original.
Same
like
way they did with Captain America.
several of these characters, villains. Yeah, just like Captain America, exactly. Were several of her first 10 villains as well. So they're basically like Captain America, translating her origins into this film from comics, which is great, and that makes me want to see it even more. And people are like, "Why didn't they choose World War II?" Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
She's the Amazon. She's immortal. Okay.
Yeah.
And plus,
it really doesn't matter.
I got into this.
Why does it need to be World War II?
Well, we actually got into this briefly with somebody who was commenting, like, it should be World War II, because that way it makes more sense that Ares is manipulating Hitler. It doesn't make any more sense.
No,
if anything, it makes less sense, because when it comes right down to it, World War I was a really, really morally ambiguous war. So it makes sense that Ares would be, like, running... There was no good guy.
Yeah, there was no heavy characters that you would have to work into the story. It was just a war,
yeah.
And Ares fuels war. He doesn't need to have these characters get in the way of a story. So
yeah,
that's why I approve.
He doesn't need the SS running around butchering Jews. He just needs Kaiser Wilhelm II attacking France. That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
And Wonder Woman just comes in and fucking starts being badass. And the movie's badass, and I don't see any claim in any of the complaints is basically my point. You can complain all you want, but in the end, none of them I've ever heard really hold up to anything. Have you?
Well, we'll see. I have, like I said, so far I haven't heard anything negative about it outside of the fact that Gal Gadot, is that her name?
Yeah, Gal Gadot. Or something.
It's always complaints about her. She's too skinny. Her boobs aren't big enough. This and that.
She's the perfect Wonder
serious?
Woman. Okay.
I mean, I hated Batman v Superman, but she was good in it. I'm not gonna lie. Same thing with Ben Affleck. I don't have a complaint about her.
Yeah, she's Wonder Woman. That's for sure. So, all right, like you said, moving on.
So, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay. I'm gonna be quick on this too. I love Spider-Man. I'm glad to see this character. In Civil War, Tom Holland sold me. I'm glad he's getting his own movie, but he's not getting a trilogy. He's mostly doing Avengers films, so they have to keep this shit overly simple, and you can already see it in the trailer. The first one,
it's a high school movie,
and
he's fighting the Vulture. I mean, it's very clear that it's just
it's straight cut.
It's like, okay, we have Spider-Man. Like, okay, we're gonna actually. Okay, so real quick, what I've discovered when looking through these old Spider-Man stuff is the Vulture is actually really the first major villain Spider-Man goes up against. Believe it or not,
and again,
they're traditionally costumed,
just like the Wonder Woman film. Spider-Man's bringing one of the first villains for him, and that's good, and that makes me want to see it, that they're doing it properly. But it's not my most anticipated at all.
No, not really.
It offers nothing special. It will be good. It won't be great.
Yeah, probably. That's what I'm looking at too. And, I don't like high school movies. I hate them.
Which is why you have a problem with Power Rangers. The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Dark Tower.
Wait, because I know you got a lot to say on that. I know you've read the novels.
Okay.
I have not. I'm just going to say...
I have read the first 3, and I've read the first half of book 4, because that one goes into prequel territory, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, oh boy.
Keep it short.
I'm trying. So, Matthew McConaughey, fantastic as the Man in Black. But... so the thing about the Dark Tower is that it's this sprawling epic. It's like 7 books. It's this ongoing journey of Roland the Gunslinger and his adopted family going to the Dark Tower to try to restore the threads that are holding the universe together, that's keeping this vast multiverse from just shattering. All right? And the way this movie, this new one's framing the story, is that it's it's just kind of another generic, action movie. You have, you have Matthew McConaughey, who's like this sleazy wizard who wants to blow up the Dark Tower because it'll destroy Earth. And you have Idris Elba, who, in this trailer that I've seen, he just looks bored as hell, which is really disappointing because I really like Idris Elba.
Basically, and you're saying
going to fight them,
that this is going to oversimplify it.
Yeah. It looks very oversimplified and very generic. That's my problem with it, and that's a shame.
And I've never read the books, so I don't know. But I tell you what, the trailer looks like. I can say on that it might be that case, but it might not. The trailer doesn't really tell you anything about what they're doing. It just kind of shows visuals, and visually,
I find it really distressing. One thing I will say, I find it a little distressing that they literally waited until May to show the first trailer for a movie that's coming out in early August.
Yeah, but didn't they keep didn't they keep moving the release date up?
Yeah, but it's like when you see something like that, it usually means that the studio who backed it doesn't have much faith in it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when it comes out. Fuck it.
Yeah.
What's next? We got a couple more titles before we sign out.
Blade Runner.
I'll go see it.
Why are they making a sequel to Blade Runner?
I have no idea, but I'll go see it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why they're making a sequel to that movie.
Nope.
I'll probably see it too. It's got the guy who did Prisoners and Arrival. I have not seen the latter, but I've heard it's really good.
Dennis Villeneuve or whatever the guy is.
He's French. I don't know.
Villeneuve. He's doing Dune, isn't he? Yeah, he does. He does a lot of. He's good, so I'll see it. Like I said, Arrival, Prisoner. He does. Yeah, he's a good director, so I'll see it just because of that. But other than that, I don't see the reason. I'd agree. But we'll see it, and we'll let you know. What's next?
Thor Ragnarok.
My most anticipated MCU film, even before Guardians.
I'm gonna, I like the Hulk is in it, but aside from that, it doesn't look particularly interesting.
Here's the thing. It looks kind of shaky from what they've shown us, but here's the thing. Thor has always fallen short in the films.
Yes, absolutely.
And he shouldn't.
Absolutely.
You could see the potential every time you watched it, but you could see where it just didn't happen, and it hurts you when you watch it. So that's why it's my most anticipated. Not because I'm hyped for the film, but because I want to see if they can do a good Thor film.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely agree on that. Right. But it's like I said, there better be a scene where we see Thor and Hulk fighting frost giants together. If there's not, I am going to be so mad.
That'd be awesome. My biggest gripe, and I know it's something small, but they didn't cast Lady Sif. Yep, that was.
She's not in this movie?
Bogus. Nope. But at least that we know of, she's not in the official casting. I mean, granted, she's been busy with Blind Spot, which is also a phenomenal show, but I don't know. I'd like to, if they were able to close the story off, have that character in it. I don't think any of those characters from that crew from Asgard are in it. I don't even think Zach.
I know the
Levi.
I was gonna say, I know the Earth-based characters are not in this at all.
Which thankfully,
Jane, there's no. Thankfully.
Not that the characters were bad. I mean, obviously in the comics they're good, but it's just I don't know. It just didn't work with the
They're
films.
Comedic relief in this movie. That's what they were.
All right, next, because we're just gonna start tearing this shit apart if we keep going on.
Justice League.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. The trailer looks good, but again, just like what we were talking about earlier. Just because the trailer is good doesn't mean the film's going to be good. Now, granted, you didn't like BVS. I did. But that runs the risk of being a divisive film again. And that that's not really too good for DC at this point.
What bugged me about Batman vs. Superman, I mean, it really bugged me about the trailers at least, was that they were cut together in such a deceptive way.
Right.
Like what you literally saw on the trailer was, I remember there was like one point where it showed like Batman in a jet. He was shooting at something, and then you saw another shot of Superman being shot at, and he just like gets up and has like the red eyes, and that it was a completely different
like four
scene
different
in the movie.
scenes together. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, are you fucking kidding? Okay, so whoever cut these trailers together,
but that's always been the issue.
They better be paying. They better be
WB.
giving that guy $1 million or something for every trailer, because he is doing a very good job of selling this freaking movie.
Well, my question is, how could you have a guy so good at selling a movie and a trailer with their editing, but have a movie edited so poorly?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Just
so moving on with that, think about that, huh?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
And
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
I'm gonna say one thing about it. I'm not gonna get too into it because we've only seen a little teaser, but I'm gonna say one thing. Great Jedi. Boom. Who caught that Easter egg? Great Jedi. I'm sold.
I
I'm
think
sold.
A lot of us did.
Not only that, but Rey with a lightsaber. Come on, I'm sold. It's over. I'm watching it.
Honestly, I'm just to be perfectly honest. I'm more curious actually about if they're actually going to finally explain things like what the hell the Resistance is, what the First Order is, how this came into being.
Right, the transition between generations.
Yeah, and what I'm also kind of curious about is this. So you remember how the main character in Battlefront 2, Hero of the Empire and whatnot, isn't it a woman?
I don't recall.
Oh, okay.
The new Battlefront 2 character is a woman.
Okay, that's what I thought. What I was going to say is this. How much you want to bet she turns out to be Rey's mom? Probably not.
No, I'd punch you in the throat if that's the case.
Why?
Speaking of, also, I wanted to mention, remember I told you there's some things that actually cover some of these loose ends between this current generation and the Return of the Jedi Empire generation. They're in books, a series of graphic novels. They actually answer a lot of that shit.
I've read a few of them
that you're looking for in this movie. So I don't know. I would like to see it in a movie because like not everyone likes to read books.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree. They need to at least answer minimal stuff. Maybe not as in depth as the books, but to cover it. But at least give some clarification because you left the moviegoer people with some loose ends.
Yeah. Well, all I know about this one, or like what's been on my mind, it's being written and directed by a guy named Rain Johnson, who was the guy
Ryan?
made,
I don't know, whatever. Hey, by the way, guys, we are horrible with names, just so you know. I can't even pronounce the character's name from Battlefront 2, the upcoming game. I just said the character. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, this guy, he directed Looper. Very good movie. If you've not seen it, go and see it. And I really can't wait to see what this guy does with a bigger budget and a great franchise behind him and the all-powerful arm of Disney.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
And,
dun,
you know, John,
dun,
speaking of last Saturday, there's John watched the trailer and we were talking about his return. That's actually has something to do with something he noticed, and I'll message you later. It's mind-boggling. Something he discovered. I'm not gonna say it here because he's gonna do an article about it. But I will say that it's something that isn't entirely needed to know about the franchise, but it's something that just is like, really? No way, really? So it's anyway, I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about today, and we're running on almost 2 hours. So.
Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Everyone, thank you so much for listening in. Please be sure, if you haven't already, please be sure to like our Facebook page. Go to our group page, like that. There's all kinds of stuff going on there all at the same time. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and there's going to be a link in the description for my personal Patreon. Get me money!
We'll put a link in for all of our pages for you, and everything you need to check out. Things are changing on all of them, so keep your eye out. Big plans. I also want to give a shout out to the Geeksters crew. They run a podcast. They actually gave us a shout out the other day, so I'm gonna give a shout out back.
That's
solid podcast.
I appreciate taking a shot.
They're members in our group. Yeah, Ed Markowski, I think his name is. I got to look at it to know it right, but yeah. You can find. We're gonna actually you can find their podcast in our group and on our page. We're actually gonna put that part of the podcast where they gave the shout out on there probably today or tomorrow. So go give them a look too, and see you next time.
All right, peace out.